Chapter 203, Where is the Way Out? 2. Of course, and Zhao Xoxui was his first choice. Let's go. After washing his face, Zhang Ziking carried his bag and followed Zhu Tu out. Old Zhang, I want to confirm again. Can those special intelligent nanomachines have the two functions of locating signals and collecting audio? It could be seen that Zhang Ziking was a little nervous. Zhu Tu started chatting as he walked to ease his nervousness. Brother Zhu, due to the limitations of size, special intelligent nanomachines generally only have one function. Of course, from a technical point of view, it was also possible to send a locator signal and collect audio in a two-in-one manner. However, that would require the most advanced composite materials. Even if there were channels, the price would be at least a few million. It should not be something that this pirate team could equip in bulk. Zhang Ziking said. Okay, in the car later, we'll try our best to communicate in low voices and short sentences. Also, play the music and let it interfere slightly. We can't be careless, I understand. Zhu Tui had already decided that he would study the most cutting-edge technology-related knowledge when he returned. Ignorance was sometimes the most fatal. Zhu Tui had already begun to consider whether he should spend a huge sum of money to equip a Huang with an ultra-miniature, ultra-wide-spectrum information sniffer. If they had this, they would be able to discover what technology the other party had to monitor them. Unlike now, when he was blind. However, the price of more than 2 million yuan was also very beautiful. If Zhu Tui wanted to equip a Huang, he could only do so after his abilities had greatly improved. They checked out of the hotel, arrived at the garage, and got into the car. The vehicle's safety system did a self-check and did not find anything unusual. Huang, can you provide us with information support through the information system of Sea Paradise after we leave? Zhu Tui communicated with Huang using words. No, without an information entry point, I can't hack into the information department of Sea Paradise. Flying Sword Warrior, please. What you provided me with was a watch-like communication device. The chip was only the size of a fingernail. As for the supercomputer room in Sea Paradise, even if it's the lowest level, it's still half the size of a room. Huang's voice was filled with disdain for Zhu Tui. Let's go, full speed. As soon as the repulsive force flying car left the garage, the engine let out a shocking roar, and flames were discharged from the tail. In a few seconds, the speed of the repulsive force flying car increased from 0 to 650 kilometers per hour. This was the maximum speed of Zhang Ziqiang's beggar version of the repulsive force flying car. Under the extreme speed, the beggar version of his repulsive force flying car became weaker against the scattered airflow. A large number of strange sounds appeared inside the flying car. This area. Zhu Tui set the GPS for Zhang Ziking while Zhang Ziking focused on the vehicle's infrared radar. Driving at night and at high speeds, they relied on their infrared radar to detect and avoid any flying creatures that might appear. The moment Zhu Tun and Zhang Ziqiang's repulsive force flying car flew out of Sea Paradise, the other repulsive force flying car hidden in the dark sea increased its speed and chased after them. It was the Black Sword Ant Trio. However, it looked like their repulsive force flying car was following them very easily. Inform Car 2 and Car 3 that the targets have set off. Inform them of the direction and have them adjust the direction of the encirclement. Don't get too close, in case they discover us ahead of time. They're only 19 years old. If they discover us ahead of time and destroy the anonymous trading card in desperation, we'll suffer a huge loss. As Black Sword Ant commanded, he began to check his various combat equipment. Robbery nowadays also depended on skills. For example, the magnetic flying rope that captured the other party's vehicle. A repulsion bomb that greatly reduced the speed of the opponent's vehicle. However, they would not use it easily. It was too expensive. It would be a loss to use it casually. Boss, the target flying vehicle is starting to slow down. Its speed has decreased from 650 kilometers per hour to 600 kilometers per hour. It has retreated from the maximum speed of their flying vehicle, said Shark, who was driving. Report the location of Car 2 and Car 3. 120 kilometers and 90 kilometers from the target. 140 kilometers and 110 kilometers from us. Follow them. Get Car 2 and Car 3 to speed up and surround them, Black Sword Ant ordered. These two brats must have flown for almost an hour. They only slowed down when they felt that it was safe. Less than 5 minutes passed. Shark, who was driving, frowned slightly. Boss, the speed of the target vehicle has decreased. It seems to be stopping. A reduction in speed? They're going to stop? What are they doing? Black Sword Ant frowned. This kind of situation rarely happened in previous raids. Boss, could it be that their lousy car is broken? That lousy car had a maximum speed of 600 kilometers per hour, but they had been flying at 650 kilometers per hour for almost an hour. Under extreme conditions, the probability of the flying car having problems increases greatly, Big Shark speculated. It's possible, but we can't be careless. Have Car 2 and Car 3 surround them at the same time as us. Tell them to prepare for battle. The distance of tens of kilometers was covered in a few minutes. From afar, they could see Zhu Tua's repulsive force flying car hovering 5 meters above the surface of the sea. Its entire body was flashing with glaring red emergency lights. It was accompanied by an uncomfortable low hum. These red emergency lights and low-frequency sound waves were effective against most flying creatures and mosquitoes. Looks like the car broke down, Shark said firmly. Let's get to work. Let's go and surround them. 30 seconds later, the 3 repulsive force flying cars shot out beams of light that looked like searchlights. They focused on Zhu Tua's repulsive force flying car. Brother, is the car broken? Do you need help? Black Sword Ant shouted as he slowly forced Zhu Tua's repulsive force flying car. The window of Zhu Tua's repulsive force flying car suddenly lowered. Zhu Tua leaned out of the window slightly. Big brother, our car broke down. Do you know how to repair a car? Yes, of course. Black Sword Ant smiled. This job today was too easy. Same rules. Whoever does the work. Almost at the same time, the windows of the 3 repulsive force flying cars that were surrounding Zhu Tua's flying car were lowered. 3 high-energy electric snipers that were flashing with high-energy plasma suddenly stuck out of the car window. However, at this moment, the sound of air being torn apart rang out. More than 30 silver lights flew out of the target's flying car at the same time. They roared at a high speed and blasted into the flying cars of the Black Sword Ant trio at an extremely tricky angle. Headshot! The silver lights shot through their brains and shattered the guns. All the actions were completed in an instant. Only the strongest level C genetic mutant, Black Sword Ant, was alerted in an instant. And Zhao Soxui suddenly tilted her head to the side, and her first silver pill attack brushed off Black Sword Ant's ear. Black Sword Ant did not even grunt from the intense pain. He suddenly shrugged his shoulders and the energy field on his back erupted, blocking the attacks of the 2 silver pills. With a furious roar, Black Sword Ant kicked the door open and jumped out of the flying car. The small space was too advantageous for the small silver balls. It was too disadvantageous for him. At this moment, Black Sword Ant understood that he had been schemed against by this 19-year-old. However, Black Sword Ant was extremely calm. The most important thing at this moment was to survive. But where was the way out? Thizi, Asa, Pirate, how could he not develop 1 or 2 related abilities related to swimming or underwater survival? The moment he rushed out of the flying car, Black Sword Ant crossed his fists and punched out. Every punch would send out an energy field to block 1 to 2 silver pills. It was also at this moment that Black Sword Ant realized that a woman had appeared in the target's flying vehicle. At this moment, there was no time to think. Anyway, this woman was terrifying. However, just as he was about to fall into the sea, Black Sword Ant noticed from the corner of his eyes that their target's eyes, the 19-year-old youth, had suddenly become extremely bright. It was as bright as the stars. Almost at the same time, Black Sword Ant felt a sharp pain. It was as if he had been whipped in the head. It was so painful that his limbs were trembling. Almost at the same time, a spiraling silver light instantly blasted over. The moment Black Sword Ant recovered from the extremely short-lived pain, the silver light had already enlarged to its maximum size in his eyes. Then it disappeared. The silver light pierced through his forehead. Flying's word. This was the last consciousness of the Black Sword Ant.